Don't you dare, ref. That she got the ball. Good morning, my fellow Tottenham fans, and rise and shine, my comrades, as Tottenham commence European battle this evening. That's right, European football is back at White Hart Lane, the old Lily Whites under the lights, as we begin our Europa League campaign against Azerbaijan champions Qarabag. We head into this game off the back of two morale-boosting victories, a late comeback against Coventry Wednesday night and a comeback against Brentford on Saturday, and for the first time since last December, we have a huge opportunity to put 3 wins together on the bounce. We head into this game with no fresh injury concerns off the back of the Brentford game. In these pre-match press conferences, I absolutely dread them because it almost feels like coming out of them we always have a new injury concern, but there is none this time, which means outside of what we already know, we have more or less a fully fit squad to choose from. So let's get into it. The lineup that I think Postecoglou will pick to kick off our Europa League campaign with a win. Starting with goalkeeper like we usually do, Postecoglou faces a tough decision regarding the goalkeeper for tonight's match. Fraser Forster appeared out of sorts against Coventry City, nearly costing us the game with a poor pass early on and struggling to handle the ball throughout the night. Meanwhile, Guglielmo Vicario also had a shaky performance at the weekend, putting us at risk with his distribution and also looking unsettled overall. However, I do expect Postecoglou to stick with the 3 Fraser Forster in goals. Now, you could take that performance 2 ways against Coventry Wednesday night. Is it a goalkeeper that hasn't played in a whole year since the last time he played against Fulham in the Carabao Cup? Or is it a goalkeeper that he's 36, 37, he's well past his prime and probably past his best? Let me know in the comment section below. All I'm looking for from Fraser Forster in this game is, because of his age, he's expected to go out there and bring that experience, that composure in these sort of games and almost lead the younger players through this game. The way he started that Coventry game, misplacing that pass to Bergvall right on the edge of the box, was not a good start to the game and probably did set the tone there on out. So for this game, I'm looking for him to bring that experience and that leadership and help these younger guys. At right back, I know many people and I know the club see Archie Gray's long-term future as a centre midfielder. However, I do think for this season his minutes will come as Pedro Porro's deputy at right back, and it's no stranger to him. He played most of last season at right back for Leeds, of course, getting them all the way to the playoff finals. But he didn't really have a convincing performance against Coventry on Wednesday night. Coventry done their homework. If you go back and watch the game, the amount of times they targeted him with the long ball, they brought 2 players onto him. One went and competed and won the header, and the other one ran in behind off him, and it broke away and gave Coventry chances. He was a target for Coventry Wednesday night, and he is going to have to learn very quickly. Getting up and competing for headers, he's going to have to be a lot stronger because it is something he is going to have to do in centre midfield as well. So something he has to learn. Also, something to learn from that experience, if he sees it happening, rather than routinely letting it happen to him, he has to show that experience, call someone over, drag someone over to help him. One takes the runner in behind, one goes and competes. It's very simply solved. All it needs is just a little bit of communication. However, we do have a fantastic player on our hands, and hopefully he's learnt from that, and the more game time he gets, the better this guy becomes. Moving on to right-sided centre-back, Romero, of course, is suspended for tonight's game. He did pick up a red card against AC Milan in our last European venture underneath Antonio Conte. We haven't been in Europe since we were knocked out of Europe that night and haven't returned, so that suspension does carry over for tonight's game, which means more minutes for the Romanian maestro Radu Dragusin. Now, to be brutally honest, I thought he was poor Wednesday night, and I don't think he's taken a lot of the chances that have come his way in general. I know some people will say it's harsh, but it's not good enough just to go into these games and get by. He has to come in. If he wants to break up Romero and Van de Ven, he has to be able to come in here and show something different. He has to become a lot more dominant, a lot more commanding. Look at the size, the physique of the guy. You know, he's an absolute physical specimen. He's an Adonis, and I would like to see him use that strength, that power, that aerial ability that he does possess. Back there, but also up the other end. Moving on to left-sided centre-back. Who's going to play beside Radu Dragusin? Are we going to see Ben Davies, who actually had a decent enough game against Coventry? Didn't really put a foot wrong, to be fair to the guy. Or Are we going to see Van de Ven with Ben Davies moved out to left back? Now, Edozie did start Wednesday night against Coventry City, which I was quite surprised, and at some point he will need to be rested. And because we are left short in terms of centre-back options, at times Van de Ven or Romero's going to have to play, at times Porro's going to have to play, and at times Destiny Edozie's going to have to play to be able to make up that back four, because we don't have the numbers there. Of course, leaving out Spence and Reguilon did not help. But for this game, I do think Van de Ven will come in. Like I said, it would be a rotational basis with Edozie starting the last one. I think Van de Ven starts this one. I also think it would be a good idea for Postecoglou to give Van de Ven minutes beside Radu Dragusin, explore these potential partnerships, especially with Romero not really hitting the ground running this season. You know, there's an opportunity there. So for me, look at this partnership, give him minutes beside Van de Ven, because at some point, if we do carry an injury, this could be a partnership we might have to roll out, and we would like to have them play together before and build up that sort of confidence with each other. And then that takes me on to left back, and I do think Ben Davies will start here at left back. Don't get me wrong, I do think his days at left back are sort of done, and I do think Qarabag will look to attack us out wide on the counter attack. However, I do expect us to be in possession for a large majority of this game, and I do think Destiny Edozie does need a rest, especially with Man United coming up at the weekend. He's got some very pacey wingers to get in behind, and I would like him to have a proper rest heading into that game. And I think Ben Davies should be good enough at left back to help us get over the line. And like I said, thought he had a very good performance against Coventry, probably our best defender on the night, to be fair to the guy. And that goal-saving tackle, if he didn't make that, we're out of the League Cup. So fair play to him. Bit of respect on his name. He's earned some respect off me for that, and hopefully he can put in another stellar performance here for this game. Now, moving into the CDM role. It's an interesting one, you know, because Bissouma and Bentancur, none of them have really nailed down the position, but none of them have really put in bad performances this season either. I think both of them, when given the opportunity, have performed very, very well. However, Bentancur has started the last two games against Brentford and Coventry, and I do think whoever doesn't start this will probably start against Man United on the weekend. But I think Bentancur will be rested, and I think Bissouma will make his return from injury. Of course, he did come off the bench at the weekend, but I do think, you know, we need to get another 90 minutes into his legs, or at least 70 minutes into his legs, and see how he copes off the back of that injury. But also, for Bissouma, when he plays well, or when his position is guaranteed, he tends to let it get to his head. He tends to take his eye off the ball. For me, starting in this game would send out a message. You do not have that number 6 nailed down. You still have to earn my trust. You still have to earn the fans' trust. So I think it would be a good idea to send him out in this game and keep that rocket up his arse. Unfortunately, Bissouma's a player that needs that. Now, moving on to the right side of the midfield tree, and I think Papa Matar will get the nod here. I think he's had a very disappointing 2024. I'm trying to work out whether it's maybe confidence related, or whether he's played so much football he needs a rest, or whether he's just struggling with a lot of the technical players we have and the options we have in that midfield, that he maybe needs to bring something a bit more to his game in that midfield department. He started off last season in fantastic form, picking up the ball, playing lovely passes, splitting the centre-back and the full-back, you know, getting on the end of things, getting in the box, and added a couple of goals. But since the turn of the year, I think Papa Matar has been off it, and often at times has struggled in possession. And I think that's the biggest thing that he really needs to bring to his game. And the thing is, he has it in him. I've seen that guy pick up the ball, switch play. I remember the San Siro last season away. Absolutely unbelievable that night. Picking up the ball, bringing a different dynamic to that midfield, trying to release the wingers nice and early. Like I said, I've seen him pick up the ball. I think it was actually Brentford last year. Split the fullback with the right pass. I think it was either for Kulusevski or Porro to run onto. He has that ability. Last year against Man United at home, he got into the box. He ended up scoring a goal. He has all these things in his locker. He has all the right components to his game. It's just now about tying it together, gelling it together, and becoming that sort of complete midfielder that his ability allows him to be. With Sarr, I just think we have to give him time, keep putting him out there, and I think eventually it will click. And then that brings me on to the guy that completes the midfield tree, and that is Lucas Bergvall. I did tie up with the idea, do you continue playing James Maddison? He was absolutely sensational against Brentford. Do you continue to build on that? Let him, you know, while he's in the mood, fully confident. It's flowing with him right now. Do you build on that, or do you take him out and rest him and make sure he's fully focused to give us that same energy against Man United? For me, the Man United game is the bigger game. I would rest him for that. And Lucas Bergvall, I think, was one of the only players from Wednesday night that can come off the pitch with his head held high. Okay, not a lot in terms of end product from the guy, but he was the only one that showed that desire, that tenacity, and almost that youthfulness to get on the ball, drive at them, and make things happen. The intent was there. Now, Bergvall can't do everything. He can't show the intent, be the assister, and be the scorer. He needs other people to come to the party, and I don't feel like they did. But he's the only one that actually showed, look, we're better than these. Just take the game to them. And I do want to see the exact same performance from him here again. It's going to be another tough test against a team that's going to sit in nice and compact. But Bergvall in this formation at Tottenham, and playing for a club like Tottenham in general, he's going to come up against that a lot more than what he did with the club at Sweden. He's going to come up against it, and he's going to have to start finding the solutions. But games like this is the ideal opportunity to put him out there and let him showcase what he can do and find the right solutions to these problems that are presented in front of him. Because as long as he's here with that attacking ability he has, he's always going to be seen as someone outside of Maddison to be able to unlock that door, have that je ne sais quoi, that X factor. So I think more minutes here would be very, very good for Bergvall. I'm really excited about this guy. He's such a baller. You look at him, he just looks like that fine footballer. The way he manipulates the ball, moves, runs, he's absolutely brilliant. I can't wait, and I do think he's going to explode at some point this season. I think it's just a matter of when. And then that brings us into the front line, and we may as well start with the left-hand side. Big question is, we had to bring Sonny off the bench Wednesday night. Not that he impacted the game. I thought he was poor against Brentford. I think he had a good game in general, but again, in front of goal, maybe lacking that bit of confidence. Do you play him here? A bit like what we've done with Brennan Johnson against Coventry. Try and breed that confidence into him. And some would argue we should, because Werner was absolutely useless against Coventry, done absolutely nothing, didn't take on his man once, kept on coming back with the ball, kept on coming inside with the ball, and that's when he didn't lose it. So it's a difficult one. However, I do think, brace yourself, get your beers in the fridge for tomorrow evening. Could be a long evening up front, but I do think Timo Werner will come back in. Look, I don't hate the guy. I'm absolutely dying to sing my song, Werner on the dance floor, for him. But his performances need to be so much better. He offers absolutely nothing right now. Absolutely zero. And yes, we can sit here and say, you have to get behind him. He's going through a confidence crisis. The reality is, he's going through that confidence crisis for 3, 4, 5 years now. It's long extended before Tottenham Hotspur. And he really needs to start showing something. It's only him that can help himself now. Even when he did look to cut inside and get the crosses in, they ended up straight in the goalkeeper's hands. Nowhere near good enough. Needs to show a lot more decisive quality in that final third and really bring something to that final third. These are the games that we brought him in for, squad rotation and stuff like that. He needs to start finding the answers very, very quick. And then moving on to the right-hand side. Big question is, do you continue playing Brennan Johnson 2 goals in 2 games? Or do you make a change and go brave and use these games, what they traditionally have been used for, to give some youngsters their opportunity? For me, I think it's a very simple conversation with Brennan Johnson this week. You're on form, you're feeling confident, you're scoring goals. But I really need you against Man United. That's the bigger test. That's the bigger focus. This game in between, we should have enough to win. But I really need you on form against Man United. Because the reality is, a lot of the goal chances tend to fall his way. He's on form right now. We need him fresh for that game at the weekend. So for me, I think we should give this guy an opportunity. Tottenham's youngest player ever to play for the football club, Mikey Moore. And I don't think we should be averse to giving this guy an opportunity from the off. In pre-season, he scored goals, he set up goals, he was running at people, and most importantly, he had the end product. Always found somebody with his directness, which is absolutely key and something we lack in that final third an awful lot. And he's a good one-on-one player. He can get at his man, drive at them, skin them, and make something happen. Take players out of the game. And I think, if you're Mikey Moore, he rejected the likes of Borussia Dortmund, Real Madrid, Barcelona, Chelsea, to stay at Tottenham Hotspur, ideally because he saw this would be his quickest route into the team. But not only that, he's a Tottenham fan. He genuinely cares. I think he approaches this game with the right attitude, with the right tenacity, with the right work rate from the off, looking with that hunger and that desire to impress. And I think that's one thing we miss in these sort of games. We've seen it with Bergvall in the first half the other night. The only one out there that really sort of got it, from a fan's point of view, go at them, look to create. And I think that youthfulness sometimes in these games is needed in amongst some of these senior players, because once they start doing it, there's nowhere to hide for some of these senior players, and they have to follow. They have to put in the energy levels. They have to put in the performance. And I think this is the perfect opportunity. No disrespect to Qarabag, they are a European experienced outfit over the last few years. But if you can't give them a game tonight against Qarabag, when is the guy going to get an opportunity? For me, I think we should be brave and start him from the very off. That moves us to up front, and again, another one I've been toying with. Do you put Dom Solanke out there again and continue to give him minutes, considering he had a lack of preseason? And I think he will start here again up front. Of course, got off the mark last week against Brentford. And some people say, Dave, it's only a tap-in. That's exactly what we bought the guy for, to be there in them situations. Don't stand there and ball watch. Be in them situations, that sort of poacher. Great. Ruud van Nistelrooy made an absolute living off it for Man United. Just being there for them spills, for them rebounds, for them ricochets, for the ball just breaking in around there, and he was. And he tapped it home. Absolutely delighted for him to get off the mark. That will ease a lot of the pressure that was starting to build upon the guy. And I thought all round he had an absolute brilliant game. Holding up the ball, bringing people into play, holding up the ball, turning his man, driving us forward, defensively, put in a couple of crucial headers as well. Absolute brilliant performance. And I do think we need him to lead the line, with a view of getting him off nice and early, getting the game done as early as we can, and then get Will Lancashire out there for a good half an hour, 40 minutes run out, and let's see what he can do. Give him the opportunities, put balls in the box for him. So that's what I think will happen for tonight's game. As you can see, guys, really excited, a lot to say, really pumped up. I hope you all are too. I get we've been in tough times. I get some people could say, Dave, look at the teams we beat, don't get too carried away. But you don't know when the next win is going to come. So enjoy it while it's here. Enjoy the victories while they're happening. And hopefully we add a third one on the bounce and give us supreme confidence heading into Man United. As always, guys, smash that like button. Most importantly, give me your thoughts in the comment section below. Give me your starting 11. Anything you agree, disagree with, don't be afraid to put it in there as well. And I'll see you all back here later on for the pre-match build-up for tonight's game. As always, come on you Spurs. In the mighty hands we trust. We never stop.